Development measures focusing on Garib, youth, Annadata, and Nari. Investing in people, economy, and innovation, PM Research Fellowship, to provide 10,000 fellowships for technological research in IITs and ISC. Research, development, innovation, allocating 20,000 crore to implement private sector-driven. Research, development, and innovation initiative. Gene Bank for crops germplasm. The second gene bank with 10 lakh germplasm lines to be set up for future food and nutritional security. Gyan mission, documentation and conservation of our manuscript heritage to cover more than 1 crore manuscripts. National Digital Repository of Indian Knowledge Systems for knowledge sharing to be set up. National Geospatial Mission to develop foundational geospatial infrastructure and data. Using PM Gati Shakti, facilitation of modernization of land records, urban planning, and design of infrastructure projects. Promoting Export Promotion Mission, with sectoral and ministerial targets to facilitate easy access to export credit, cross-border factoring support, and support to MSMEs to tackle non-tariff measures in overseas markets. Bharat TradeNet, a digital public infrastructure, Bharat TradeNet (BTN), for international trade will be set up as a unified platform for trade documentation and financing solutions. Support for integration with global supply chains, National Framework for GCC, as guidance to states for promoting global capability centers in emerging Tier 2 cities. Warehousing facility for air cargo, to facilitate upgradation of infrastructure and warehousing for air cargo, including high-value perishable horticulture produce. Reforms as the fuel financial sector, reforms and development grey mean credit score framework to serve the credit needs of SHG members and people in rural areas. NAY BFID to set up a partial credit enhancement facility for corporate bonds for infrastructure. Revamped central KYC registry to be rolled out in 2025. Rationalization of requirements and procedures for speedy approval of company mergers. FDI limit for the insurance sector will be raised from 74 to 100%. Tax reforms changes in direct taxes and proposal to introduce the new income tax bill. Regulatory reforms, light touch regulatory framework based on principles and trust to unleash productivity and employment. High-level committee for regulatory reforms. Investment Friendliness Index of States, FSDC mechanism, to evaluate impact of the current financial regulations and subsidiary instructions, along with a framework to enhance their responsiveness and development of the financial sector. Jan Vishwas Bill 2.0, to decriminalize more than 100 provisions in various laws. Indirect tax proposals, rationalization of customs tariff structure for industrial goods, removal of 0.7 tariff rates. Apply not more than one cess or surcharge. Apply equivalent cess to maintain effective duty incidence on most items and lower cess on certain items. Sector-specific proposals make in India exemption to open cell for LED LCD TV, looms for textiles, capital goods for lithium-ion battery of mobile phones and EVs. Promotion of MRO, exemption for 10 years on goods for shipbuilding and ships for braking, extension of time limit for export of railway goods imported for repairs. Export promotion, duty-free inputs for handicraft and leather sectors, trade facilitation, time limit fixed for finalization of provisional assessment, new provision for voluntary declaration of material facts, post-clearance and duty payment with interest but without penalty. IGCR rules amended to extend time limit to 1 year and file quarterly statement instead of monthly. Improved access to life-saving medicines, addition of 36 life-saving drugs or medicines in exempted list, 6 medicines in 5% duty list, 37 medicines and 13 new patient assistance programs in exempt list, medicines for rare diseases, cancer, severe chronic diseases, direct tax proposals, ease of doing business, introduction of a scheme for determining arm's length price of international transaction for a block period of 3 years, expansion of scope of safe harbor rules to reduce litigation and provide certainty in international taxation. Personal income tax reforms with special focus on the middle class, 0 to 4 lakh, nil 4 to 8 lakh, 5%, 8 to 12 lakh, 10%, 12 to 16 lakh, 15%, 16 to 20 lakh, 20%, 20 to 24 lakh, 25%, more than 24 lakh, 30%. Rationalization of TDS or TCS for easing difficulties. Tax deduction limit for senior citizens doubled from 50,000 to 1 lakh. The annual limit of 2.40 lakh for TDS on rent increased to 6 lakh. Encouraging voluntary compliance, extension of time limit to file updated returns from the current limit of 2 years to 4 years. Reducing compliance burden. Reduced compliance for small charitable trust or institutions by increasing their period of registration from 5 years, 10 years. Taxpayers to be allowed to claim the annual value of O2 self-occupied properties, previously O1, without any conditions, previously conditions attached. Employment and investment, tax certainty for electronics manufacturing. Schemes, tonnage tax scheme for inland vessels. Extension for incorporation by 5 years of startups. Specific benefits to ship leasing units, insurance offices, and treasury centers of global companies, which are set up in IFSC certainty of taxation to Category 1 and Category 2 ALFS, undertaking investments in infrastructure and other such sectors, on the gains from securities. Rupee comes from income tax 22%, from borrowing and other liabilities 24%, from union excise duties 5%, from GST and other taxes 18%. Non-tax receipts 9%, from non-debt capital receipts 1%, from custom 4%, from corporation tax 17%. Rupee goes to pensions 4%, to other expenditure 8%, to interest payments 20%, to centrally sponsored scheme 8%, to finance commission and other transfers 8%, to central sector scheme, excluding capital outlay on defense and subsidy 16%, to state's share of taxes and duties 22%, to major subsidies 6%, to defense 8%.